At 3,000 meters above sea level, a thick layer of clouds formed every day on the Rwenzori range. Moisture soaks into the multi-layered mosses surrounding the senecio trees.
Polskie safari w Górach Księżycowych. Tadeusz Bernadzkiewicz. Góry Rwenzori. Afryka.
Rwenzori Mountains are located in the geographical center of the continent of Africa, only 20 miles from the equator. This mountain range of the 6,000 square kilometers extend over the borders of Uganda and the Republic of Congo between Lake Edward in the south and Lake Albert in the north. It includes 6 independent ranges, separated by ravines, hundreds of meters deep. Rwenzori is the tallest non-volcanic mountain range in Africa, with the 3rd highest peak, the Margarita Peak. My 11-day trek in the mountains of Rwenzori fell on January, the field agent of the dry season. Trekking in the Rwenzori without official permission and a guide is illegal. We will spend 11 nights in prepared climber camps. The daily length of the march is decided by the degree of difficulty and altitude. Trail will lead through the changing climates of the vegetation zones, determined largely by the altitude and aspect. We'll get through rainforests, then a bamboo area which gradually goes to the alpine meadows, and end in the snow-covered mountain peaks. The goal of my trip was to climb 3 peaks. The first is a Polish symbol in the Rwenzori Mountains, the Tatra Peak, then Peak Edward in the mountain range of Baker, and I wanted to finish my journey on the highest peak of the massif, the Margarita Peak.
Jesteśmy w sercu afrykańskiego kontynentu. 20 km od równika. W górach, które nosiły nazwę i do dzisiaj nazywane są Góry Księżycowe. Góry, gdzie rodzi się deszcz. Jest to pasmo Rwenzori. Jedne z najpiękniejszych gór na kontynencie afrykańskim. To tu 75 lat temu przybyła polska wyprawa pod kierownictwem 2 tatrowników. Tadeusza Bernadzkiewicza i Tadeusza Pawłowskiego. Razem z nimi wspinali się i działali w tym regionie Tadeusz Wiśniewski i Edward Loch. To dzięki nim w tym paśmie zapisane są polskie nazwy. Szczyt Tatry, szczyt Bernadzkiewicza, a także wyznaczona jest polska droga na najwyższy szczyt w paśmie Rwenzori, górę Margaritę.
Wuzia Kule by the names. I'm a citizen of Chambao village. I'm a Mkonzo person by tribe, and I'm a Ugandan by nationality. And I have 14 years when I'm guiding. When now here we have reached a place where there is a traditional beliefs where people of this mountain, mostly the old people, they do some ceremonies. But later, when we are coming back, I shall be able to talk about them very much, but not today. Rwenzori is made up of 6 vegetations. Now we have the first vegetation, which is a grassland vegetation. We have covered that one. Then we have montana forest vegetation. See where we are now. This is a montana forest vegetation. Then tomorrow we shall go to another vegetation, which is a bamboo vegetation first. From bamboo vegetation we shall go to the heather vegetation, where we shall spend the night. Then from that vegetation, above the heather vegetation, there is a savanna vegetation. Then from the savanna vegetation, savanna is the fishes. From the savanna we have the ice vegetation, which is the last at the top. Every vegetation is different from another one by its own way. Yeah, and mostly in this vegetation, it's where we receive some monkeys, like the blue monkeys, the calabash monkeys. It's also where we also get the chimps.
Climate, vegetation, and landscape changes here. Depending on the altitude, it is characterized by a large number of endemic species of both flora and fauna. On the banks of streams, many species of butterflies can be encountered. One of them is the sphinx, the fastest butterfly in the world. It is capable of reaching speeds of up to 50 kilometers an hour. It hangs in the air thanks to its rapid flapping wings, amounting to 5,000 beats per minute. Only by slowing down the image can you see the movement as it is hovering in the air. The sphinx can change the angle of its wings and allow it to change direction of flight. The muscles of its wings are one of the finest creations of nature. Slopes of the area are also the habitat of endangered animals, like the Exorina chameleon, living only in the rainforest of the Rwenzori. There is also an endangered flower, like the 3-meter deadly poisonous gloriosa, which is a wonderful lily that blooms from November to March. In the book, Polish Safari in the Mountains of the Moon, author Tadeusz Bernadzkiewicz described the Polish expedition in 1938. I will follow the footsteps of their trail. This was the first Polish expedition and documented research in the Rwenzori Mountains that had a scientific nature and sports visionary. Polish mountaineers Bernadzkiewicz and Pawlowski ran new paths through the northeast ridge to the summit, Margarita. They acquired the Virgin Peak and named it after the highest Polish mountain, Tatra. There were other members of the expedition. Anthropologist Edward Loth gathered interesting ethnographic material about the Bankonjo tribe. A botanist, Wisniewski, amassed a rich material for a number of endemic plants in the region.
This plant is called Codaxus, and this is the flowers. Then after these flowers, then they will bring some fruits. These are like fruits. And this plant, sometimes it was used by the local people as a medicinal plant. For instance, if someone was having bitten by the snake, they cut the root, then they pound it. After pounding it, then they squeeze the water. That water, then they put it on the place where the person was bitten by the snake. When someone has evil spirits, they get the leaves, they pound them, they squeeze them, then they put some little water. Then that water which is out of the leaves, they sprinkle that water on the affected person, then the evil spirits go away. this is the beginning of the bamboo vegetation. This is a bamboo shoot which is eaten by the monkeys. And then when this one is growing up, it develops some bamboo fibers, and then those bamboo fibers, people formerly they were using them for thatching their houses, to construct their houses. This plant which you can see here is called the Helichrysum glenii. And the flowers which you can see, people call them everlasting flowers. That when it is hot, it is open like how you have seen it. When it is cold, all the flowers they close. And they say that the flowers on that plant, if you have flu, you can squeeze the flowers. After squeezing the flowers, you just breathe in some of the parts of the flowers. Then they say the flu will get off. So it is also like medicine. Now I think you can see these fruits and robust plant. These fruits sometimes they are eatable. People eat them. But this one which you can see present at the moment, they are not ready for eating. When they are ready for eating, they are black. And when they are black, they call them blackberries. So they are blackberries when they are ready for eating. But here in the mountain here we have some beliefs. It says that when you eat these blackberries, when you are going up, sometimes it rains. And why it rains, I shall tell you when we come back, because there is a long story about the cause why it rains after eating these berries. Now we have joined the heather vegetation, and the heather trees, these trees you can see, this is an example, and even you will get more which are bigger than this one, which are fatter than this one, and in this vegetation, most of the trees we shall see here, they are the heather trees. And for instance, this is the young ones of the heather trees. This is how they look like. As I told you earlier, that you shall reach a point where you shall see much old man's beard is hanging on the heathers. Now this is the point, and even we are still going ahead with some points which have similar heather points, heather trees.
Covered in clouds and mist, Rwenzori is considered one of Africa's most beautiful regions, offering one of the most difficult to penetrate lands throughout eastern Africa. Crossing the floors of tropical jungles in dense bamboo thickets and marshy wetland areas require a big effort and good preparation. The mountain massif is a great attraction for climbers, trekkers, and nature lovers.
This is a giant lobelia. And this type of lobelia, when it is dry, it keeps water inside here. This water is always there, even if it is a dry season or wet season, you find this water there. This is a Asanasio adenivalis, and this one is a tree. Sometimes you find it has branches. Now this is another type of lobelia, but this is called Lobelia wellostoni.
Over heater forests at an altitude of 4,000 meters starts the Afro-Alpine zone, particularly of which the endemic forms grow woody senecio and tall and slender lobelia. It is these plants that give a mysterious and unique charm to the Rwenzori Mountains. Senecio trees are ancient natives to the higher African altitudes. A senecio that has reached more than 8 meters in height may have lived for thousands of years and are affectionately known as old men. Their bark are covered by dry leaves that pick up moisture from the environment, preventing the plants from drying out. Lobelia is a flower that has an empty stalk that acts as a solar heat generator to ensure the survival of the plant in the cold night. Rwenzori was the last discovered high mountain range on our planet. Even the natives living in the valley did not realize the size of the mountain, hidden high up in the clouds. Exploring the Rwenzori Massif began in 1906, when the Italian prince Luigi Amadeo de Savoia, known as the Duke of Abruzzi, conducted a 2-month expedition in order to acquire all of the major peaks of the Massif and compile maps. The expedition was a success, as descriptions and routes set by these expeditions were used to this day by scientists and climbers.
We have now already covered 4 vegetations. Now we are going to join another vegetation, the 5th vegetation, which is Afro-Alpine vegetation. Most of the plants we find here is the Carex rwenzoriosis. Other people call them tussocs. And we have also the everlasting flowers. We have a few trees of asanasio trees. And if we are lucky, we can get some deicas in this vegetation. Most of the deicas are found in this vegetation, and even in the rock hyrax. So this is how this vegetation looks like.
On the 3rd day, we went to the first of the planned trip goals, Tetra Peak. The trail ran around the Namusagi Valley. We passed a few meter-tall shrubs, everlasting flowers, St. John's wort, and some tree ferns. Around noon, after we bypassed glacial lakes, we walked through a giant garden of senecio, from where we began approaching the peak of Tetra.
These 2 peaks which we can see from here, they are Tetra peaks. They are all called Tetra peaks.
Tak jak mój przewodnik powiedział, dzieli nas tylko godzina od wejścia na szczyt Tatry. Przepiękne wejście Tadeusza Bernadzkiewicza i Tadeusza Pawłowskiego 75 lat temu, w lutym 1939 roku. To oni pierwsi wyznaczyli drogę na ten szczyt. Drugi, o którym mój przewodnik nie mówi, szczyt Bernadzkiewicza, też chyba jest następnym. Także wybieramy ten najwyższy i na niego będziemy się wspinać. Jesteśmy powyżej 4000, około 200-300 metrów. Ja już czuję troszeczkę, głowa mnie boli. Dolina drzew Senecji zagradza nam drogę na szczyt. Także wspaniale, przepięknie i wilgotno, bardzo duszno. Teraz znowu przechodzimy i już trzeba się trzymać. Tu nie ma ścieżek. Bardzo ciężko w niektórych momentach, ale teren naprawdę wspaniały. Te drzewa Senecji są przepiękne. Niektórzy nazywają je starcami albo świecznikami. Także przepiękna okolica, przepiękna sceneria prowadzi na szczyt góry Tatry. Mój przewodnik przede mną szuka drogi na szczyt Tatry, a ja za nim. Coraz bliżej jesteśmy naszego pierwszego celu wyprawy Rwenzori. Już wyłania się pomiędzy tymi świecznikami Senecji. Widzę go coraz lepiej i udała się naprawdę pogoda. Pogoda jest wspaniała. Popadało tylko dzisiaj rano. Przeczekaliśmy to w obozie. Wyszliśmy trochę później, ale opłaciło się. I to nasz szczyt Tatry. Już coraz bliżej szczytu natrafiamy na 3 małe stawy. Teraz szukamy drogi, żeby wejść na szczyt. Jest za mną szczyt Tatry, także wszystko wygląda dobrze i idziemy na szczyt. 30 metrów tylko do wierzchołka. I na szczycie z moim przewodnikiem. Także razem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello!
Tatra Peak!
Książka Tadeusza Bernadzkiewicza o ekspedycji 1938 roku. Właśnie o wyprawie w Góry Księżycowe. Najpiękniejsze góry, największe pasmo górskie na kontynencie afrykańskim. Góry Rwenzori. Także jesteśmy tu z moim przewodnikiem. Zdobyliśmy dzisiaj po prawie 6 godzinach szczyt Tatry. Po 75 latach znowu Polska symbol na tej górze. Wspaniale, mamy przepiękną pogodę, nie jest naprawdę tak źle. Na dole zaczęło padać, teraz jest tylko bardzo wiecznie. Góry się przewalają. Jeszcze mamy do zejścia około 3 godzin do naszej bazy. Także uciekamy, bo zaczyna się robić bardzo zimno. Jest godzina już prawie 4, od 6 zapada nas blok.
Cold and exhausted, but happy, we got back to the Camp Lagat after dark. The history of the Rwenzori Mountains is closely connected with the search for the sources of the Nile. In the 2nd century, Ptolemy of Alexandria drew up a map of Africa. According to him, stemming from the lake of Lunamontes, which is fed of the melting snows, is the source of the Nile. The Mountains of the Moon were given their name by the natives that lived there, who could not understand what snow was. They believed that the top of the mountain attracted the light of the moon.
Now, as I have said about these lakes, we have many lakes here in Rwenzori, and there's some water flowing from the lakes and the water streams. Those streams and lakes, and the rivers, they flow and they reach in Lake George and Lake Edward. From Lake George and Edward, then they go to Lake Albert. From Lake Albert, then they go to Lake Victoria. And then from Lake Victoria, then they form River Nile. So most of the people, when you read some of the books, they say that River Nile is just Mount Rwenzori is a source of River Nile.
The challenge of the 5th day expedition was the Rwenzori Pass, the highest pass in the Rwenzori Mountains. It owes its name thanks to Bernadzkiewicz and Pawlowski, who named it in honor of their guide, Bamwajara, in the village Bagoy. He led them safely through it to the valley of Namakasai, from where they climbed to the top of Tatra.
Here we are is a place called the Rwenzori Pass. It is 4,450 meters above sea level. And this is the pass which is going to Hanwik Camp. It is going to go passing to Kachope, whereby we are going to meet 3 lakes called the Kachope Lakes. We have the upper Kachope Lake, it is the one which we can see now. Then below that one there is the middle Kachope Lake and the lower Kachope Lake. Then from that we go across and reach a certain valley, and we reach a place which is very nice with some tussocks, with some other loberias, and then we take the right side, then we go to the camp, which is Hanwik Camp, where we are going to spend the night today. We are now in the 6th zone, and it is the last, which is the ice zone.
W drodze na szczyt Bekę, główny wierzchołek Edward. Zostało nam jeszcze jakieś 500 metrów. Wyruszyliśmy dzisiaj rano o godzinie 4. Już zrobiliśmy około 400 metrów podejścia. Także jeszcze około 2 godziny wspinaczki w górę.
This is a glacier on Mount Baker, where we are going. So this is just below the peak which we are going to climb.
W drodze na szczyt Edwarda mała przeprawa. Także mała przeprawa, tu przypięli zdrowaście linę. Teraz będziemy tam się na stałą linę zjeżdżać na dół. Także powoli rozpoczyna się przygoda.
Baker Peak, with a height of 4,844 meters, is the 6th highest mountain in Africa. Like all of the peaks in the range of Rwenzori, it has many jagged tops, with the highest being Edward. It was first climbed by an Italian expedition led by the Duke of Abruzzi in 1906.
Szczyt Edward zdobyty o godzinie prawie 11. Zajęło nam to, wyszliśmy o godzinie 4, czyli 5 godzin wspinaczki.
Congratulations, Edward. This is Edward Peak, which is on Mount Baker.
On the way back to camp, the clouds spread, and in the rays of the setting sun appeared to us in all of its glory, Peak Baker.
And Rwenzori is called Rwenzori. The word Rwenzori comes from the word rain. So it is called Rwenzori, which means rainmaker. So at least every time or every month there is some rain in Rwenzori. Even if it is in a dry season, at least it cannot finish like a week or 2 weeks without receiving a little rain. Then you find there is ice just nearby the equator. We have the equator in Kasese, and it is just a few meters from the equator to where there is ice. So it is also because of the much rain which you have here in Rwenzori.
The name Rwenzori is a word in local dialect that means the rainmaker, and in 1888, Henry Morton Stanley referred to this word to describe the name of the mountains. The name is very accurate. There is an annual rainfall of more than 250 centimeters. Rain clouds hide the mountain range, on average 300 days a year, ranking them among the most humid places on Earth.
This is Mount Stanley, and Mount Stanley is a very big mountain. So we have just seen, it is not even a quarter of it. It's just a small part of it which you are looking at. So another part, the big one, is at the other, that direction. This ice, it is the same as that one.
Yeah.
So this is the peak.
This is the peak.
Yeah, these are the peaks.
Glacial recession on the Rwenzori Mountains is very violent. During the Ice Age, glaciers on the Rwenzori covered an area of 200 square kilometers. In the last century, this area has been reduced to 11 square kilometers. Now, the area is just under 1 square kilometer. If we cannot stop global warming in 10 years, glaciers in the Rwenzori Mountains will cease to exist. The only source of water for about 2 million people will disappear, along with forests and rare species of animals and plants.
Jest godzina 6 rano. Będziemy teraz wchodzić na lodowiec, na plateau Stanleya, lodowiec Stanleya, a później na lodowiec Margarity. Także przed nami jakieś 3 godziny wspinaczki do szczytu.
And now we are starting the steep part, which will lead lead us to the summit, Margarita. So from here, we are going very steep, which will take us like 2 or 2.5 hours.
Margherita Peak, named after Marguerite of Savoy, Queen of Italy, and aunt to the Duke of Abruzzi, is the highest peak on the massif, known as Mount Stanley, the highest mountain of both Congo and Uganda, and the 3rd highest in Africa.
This mountain, which you will see where there is cloud, it is Mount Peak. Whereby we have Victoria Emmanuel as the highest peak on that mountain. That peak is Edward and Mount Baker. So that ice which you can see at the top, it is on the peak where we are going, on Margarita Peak.
Coraz wyżej. Już jakieś tylko 100 metrów do szczytu. Godzina czasu może. Ciężko. Idziemy dalej. Cały czas do przodu. Od 4 rano. No i na szczycie!
Okay.
Hello!
You're welcome.
Margarita.
Welcome to Margarita Peak.
O godzinie 10 wyszliśmy około 4 z rana. Piękna spinaczka. Jeszcze na szczycie. Także kolejny cel Rwenzori dokonany. Wspaniale. Margarita, najwyższy szczyt Rwenzori. 5100 kilka metrów. Także jesteśmy na szczycie. But later, when we are coming back, I shall be able to talk about them very much, but not today. And, this one, you can see this one, and then there's another one here. These two things are the hearts of the kings of Rwenzori. This Rwenzori mountain has a Bakonzo belief king that he's living. He and his wife, they are living on this mountain. And the wife is called Nyavevoya, and the husband is called Kitasamba. And when you are at Lena up there, you see those two peaks, Nyavevoya peak and Kitasamba peak. And then those people, you see, they are making this one. They are celebrating for those two people because they are the king of, they are the owners of the mountain. So they are building this one, and these eggs you can see, they are even some of the things of the sugar canes. So this is what they eat. They eat sugar canes, and they also eat eggs. And it is believed that they have also their children. Their children, their sons and daughters, and their sons, they say that they love the people in the community. That's why they say it is that women are not supposed to go to the mountain, because maybe when they go there, their sons,
they can love them, and then they take them forever. Sometimes those sons, they come to the community when they love a certain girl. They produce children to that girl. Even up to now, you find some ladies who are loved by those sons of the king of the mountain, Kitasamba. You find he is pregnant and he gives a birth to a child who is very brown, and even the hair is brown. These hats are not the same. This one is for the lady, and this one is for the man, the king. Kitasamba so is a king, and Nyabuya is a lady of Kitasamba person. So those people, I cannot call them people. They are like spirits because you don't see them. Those people who are practicing culture, who have the witch doctors, some of them, they see that person, those people, and even they see their children, and even their children have they have names. Others are called Kalisha, others are called Lusenge, and so many names. And that's why even they say, when you are going up, you are not supposed to eat the blackberries. That the blackberries, it is the food of the sons and the daughters of Kitasamba and Nyabebuya. So when you eat the blackberries when you are going up, you get a very heavy rain with the storms. So it is a punishment to you that you have eaten the food of their children. Sometimes even we are not allowed to take bananas up because it is the food of the king of the mountain. So we are not supposed to eat it when the one who is supposed to eat it is there. Okay. Even the black sugar canes, we are not supposed to take them to the mountains and eat them in the mountains, but we can eat them down. And you see, Mount Stanley has a flat area, that is Stanley Plateau. That is the playground of the daughters and sons of Kitasamba and Nyabuya. There are sometimes when you go there, when you look down, we see the footsteps of those children. But for us, we see, we don't talk about them, just pass and go. At that time, if we see the footsteps, for us we guide is. If we see the footsteps, it is a blessing. And sometimes it is a curse. There is a time when you see the footsteps are facing where you are going, then you face problems. If you see them, they are from where you are going, it is a blessing.
Rwenzori is one of the few mountain ranges of nature that is completely pristine and is still very rarely visited and unknown. Large areas of the mountain belong to the uncharted lands, especially on the difficult-to-access western slopes and valleys on the Congo side. That side is to this day the natural environment of the mountain gorilla.
Góry wspaniałe, przepiękne. Nazwałem je ogrodem Edenu. Warte zobaczenia, zwiedzenia, eksploracji i poznania. Polecam.